I lied already, it's not going to be more than just a couple minutes, it's going to be a couple more than a couple minutes. But if I could just have everybody's attention for a little bit, I wanted to say a few words about tonight. First of all, I wanted to thank you all for coming to our second Thank You Night Out for Vietnam veterans in the Barnegat area. That is my niece and nephew saying yay, by the way. So, in case you didn't know, my family and I came over to the United States as refugees in 1975 and are able to stand here today as proud Americans through the concerted efforts of many people, including my parents. Kate, can you raise your hand? And Lauren, my mom, in the back over there. Hi, Grandma. His grandma, right. And we were able to come here because they made our survival their #1 priority. And that's her grandma too, yes. Their #1 priority. They made our survival their #1 priority. And then my Uncle Ian, who unfortunately had to cancel last minute on us. We had a lot of last minute cancellations, unfortunately, today because people got really sick. There is a bug going around. I know, my husband and I just got it last week. So my Uncle Ian and his wife, unfortunately got sick and weren't able to come here tonight. But he played a very integral part in our escape because he was the captain of a naval destroyer and was able to get all of us out on his boat safely. Okay? And one of the other groups of people who helped us get over to America is the thousands of volunteers who welcomed us to the States and fed us and put clothes on our backs and gave us tools to survive and become productive members of society who give back to the community, like my brother Zui, who unfortunately also couldn't be here with us tonight due to military commitments in Mississippi. Yes. But he has been giving back to the community by being in the Air National Guard for 18 years so far, and has 3 kids here, 2 of whom you've heard from many times already. Yes. That you'll all fall in love with. And last, but definitely not least, the reason why we're able to be here as productive members of society is from the contributions of people like you, Vietnam veterans. You helped keep those communists away from our neighborhoods in Vietnam. And then you made sure that we had a safe passage to your country after we lost ours. So sadly though, unlike other veterans before you and after you, you weren't given the hero's welcome home when you returned home. And you had to face your personal nightmares alone, publicly shamed by your own neighbors. And it was appalling behavior that many citizens displayed then. But fortunately, things have started to turn around. People are making the efforts to make amends with you so that you are aware of how thankful we are for all of your efforts. And that's why our town of Barnegat has allowed me and my husband Jimmy, why don't you raise your hand there? Okay. That's why our town has allowed us to build a memorial specifically for Vietnam veterans right at Gazebo Park alongside the other memorials there honoring heroes. And the plan is to have that memorial completed and dedicated on the first National Vietnam Veterans Day, which will be Thursday, March 29th, 2018. And if you want to see what the memorial looks like, a life-size printout of it is on the side table over here. Okay, and that's exactly what the memorial is going to look like right at the base of the flagpole at Gazebo Park in Barnegat Township. And that's also why an event like this is happening, where Vietnam veterans are invited out for a night of free drinks and food to personally show you how grateful we all are. Now, on a local level, our goal is to be able to reach every Vietnam veteran living in Barnegat to have them come to one of our thank you events. And then on a broader level, we'd love for other towns and states to get inspired by this and to do the same for their own Vietnam veterans in their communities. Wouldn't it be great to have Vietnam veteran memorials and thank you nights out in every single town? We think so. I mean, if someone like me and my husband can do it, and quite honestly, who are we? We are just two regular people with more free time on our hands because we don't have any human kids who felt that this was the right thing to do, so we forged ahead and we just did it. So if we can do it, anyone can do it, and we think that they should. And what's great is that after our first event, we already heard about a few other people who are looking to do something similar in their area, and were motivated by what they learned was happening right in Barnegat. Now, we couldn't do either of these projects without the support of many different groups, from our town of Barnegat to the Barnegat American Legion to the Barnegat VFW, and even to Congress. Representatives from each group are here tonight to show their support for all of you. So to start, we have the commander of this terrific American Legion Post and facility, whose space and time and many, many other things like patience has been donated for our events tonight. Commander Gene O'Grady. Gene?
Thanks, Steve. What a great thing a team Jimmy are doing. I just like to say, I'm, as you can see, I'm a little bit younger than a Vietnam era veteran. But it's because of my dad being a Marine in Korea that it wasn't what service are you gonna join, it was when are you gonna join. And that's the way a lot of us were raised, and growing up here in Barnegat, it's always great to look around and be a commander of this post. And throughout my travels through the state of New Jersey, all of my friends are veterans, basically. And all the guys that taught me what to do in the service were Vietnam veterans, because that's just the way it was. All my drill sergeants were there. So I thought it was important, and with Jimmy and T, I said, whatever you need, and I asked our e-board, we have a couple members here. If you're not a member of our American Legion, please join. This is what we do. This is how we do it. We've got 750 members here, and I'll tell you, everybody, with Jimmy and T's presentation here, they were grateful for that, and unfortunately, we tried to do certain things. I'm sure we could have had the room packed tonight, but with some of the commitments and for the intimate setting that Jimmy and T, really wanted, there's people out there, and they're grateful for that welcome home. So I just want to say welcome to our post. Thank you for coming out here, and for all of our Vietnam veterans, welcome home, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Gene. Now, to continue with our show of solidarity and support for events for our Vietnam veterans, the commander of our town's VFW, Commander Frank Healey, would also like to say a few words.
Thank you, Keith. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
As a Vietnam veteran myself, I'm very appreciative to you and Jimmy and your family of what you're doing for us, and to thank you that we're receiving from you. And to see this, and a family coming in from Vietnam, and us having spent over a year over there, we're very happy that you did arrive in our country. You are definitely a positive for this country. In regard to coming home, many of us, one of our stops was Okinawa, and from Okinawa into the States, or Conus, the land of the big PX. And at that point, a lot of us read what was happening in the States, and not understanding what was going on, or even wondering what was going to happen to us when they finally opened the gate and let us out. And my 4-year enlistment was up in the Marines. So when I was getting out, I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. Some did receive violence. Some did receive abuse. Some luckily received total indifference. I was one of the lucky ones that had total indifference. And once it was done, it was done. But through the years, you would live with that, of your friends, family, and not being quite there anymore with them, not being quite accepted or not even feeling quite accepted. You were different, we were all different. But it seemed like they didn't want to accept us to be different. It's coming around and with people like T and her family and others that we are home, we really are. And it's about time we started seeing that this is our home, we're here. And people recognize us and people understand that we are home. So, for all of you, and I know that Gene mentioned the American Legion, well, I'm a Legionnaire myself, and I'm also in the Veterans of Foreign Wars. So if any of you would like to, our post is right over here on West Bay Avenue. We're a small post, but we're an active post. And Barnegat is also our community, and we work with the American Legion as much as possible, because we're all veterans, every one of us. Whether we were overseas or not, we wore that uniform, and we were prepared to do what our country asked us to do. So if you'd like to come over to our post every Wednesday at 9 a.m., we have coffee, donuts, and if the ladies would hold their ears, bullshit. So you're more than welcome to stop by any veteran and have a cup of coffee and yak with the guys. And T, thank you again. And to all of you from any service, from any war, and I know there were gentlemen here and others from other conflicts, welcome home. You are home. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. And last but certainly not least, Bob Smyth, a field representative for U.S. Congressman Tom MacArthur, would like to say a few things to let our veterans know he and another field representative, Jay Hayden in the back over there, are there to help in any way.
Thank you very much, and good evening. It's an honor to be here in two roles. It's an honor to be here representing Congressman Tom MacArthur. You're now in the 3rd Congressional District. Proud to be here. But we, Jay and I, are proud to be here as veterans. You can see I'm a Vietnam veteran. Jay has been to Iraq, Afghanistan. I'm an Army guy, he's an Air Force guy, but we get along really well together. It's only the Marines sometimes that create problems for me. Semper Fi. I have to say, T, since I last saw you at the Backward Flag Brewery, when this was first started, I have told so many people about what she has done as an example and a model of, you said this, could be done around the United States. I have been around other Vietnamese people. I'm around a lot of Vietnam vets. And we all say thank you to each other. The public says thank you to us. But I have to tell you, what you do is great, and I would love to see it done by more Vietnamese folks. And I say that to people all the time. To all the veterans, Vietnam, World War II, Korea, Afghan, all that, welcome home. And one of the things I say, and I'm going to build on what Frank said, and I talk about this a lot. In the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, we see school children that appreciate not just Vietnam veterans, but all veterans. And I do a thing I started about 6 months ago, which is kind of funny, but it works. I have this hat with me, and I don't wear it all the time. I don't usually wear it inside, but this is special. But I keep it in the car, on the seat next to me. And I travel around, and Jay and I go to a lot of different Wawas and things, because we're on the road in Burlington County and Ocean County. And when I went into a Wawa about a year ago, I had the hat on. And people were all looking at me, and little kids are coming up saying, thank you for your service, and other people are too. And then, whatever I bought at the time, it was coffee and a few other things, they go, we've got this covered for you. Well, that's happened about 50 times in the last year, because whenever I'm going into a wallow now, I pick up the how they go in, and but my point is that I don't see the issues that you talked about that occurred when we got back in the 60s and 70s. I don't see that happening anymore. There seems to be a tremendous appreciation for all military. The military currently serving, we get involved with the Joint Base all the time, so we're actively involved in supporting their missions. But I see tremendous respect for veterans, and you don't see war protests and things like that anymore. You really see, thank you for your service. And I see it from little kids to older folks, and I really haven't heard anybody say anything bad or not. We don't thank you for your service. I have not heard that. So that's a change in the country. That's great. Be proud of what you do. The other thing that we all do as veterans that's really very positive is like what you do here at the American Legion Post and the VFW. By the way, I'm a proud member, card-carrying member of both the American Legion and the VFW and 15 other different organizations that support veterans. So it's really great. But here's what you do. We serve in active duty, we're in reserves, but it's what's done after you become a veteran. You continue to serve, you serve the community, and you know we all do that, and all these organizations do that. So I can't thank you enough for doing that. If you need any help from any of us, we have our business cards with us. They have our office numbers on the back. We're in Toms River, we're in Marlton. We'll help you with just about anything that could be an issue with a federal agency. A lot of it has to do with the VA, but if you need help with jobs and education and housing and the opioid crisis issues that are occurring and all that, we're involved in all of that. So we're here to help you. And thanks, I can't thank you enough, but T, keep it up. Tell other people to do this. It's really great what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. So tonight, we bring you some pretty cool things. Backward Flag Brewing Company, who had graciously hosted our first thank you event back in August, who is also owned by a veteran who did 2 tours in Iraq as a Black Hawk helicopter crew chief, is always doing something to try to help other veterans, has donated some of their amazing craft beer and a keg in the back of the room over there. So make sure that you help yourself to some of it in the back of the room. And if that's not your thing, full open bar on the other side of the canteen, okay? We also have some Vietnamese food from our favorite restaurant in Pleasantville, and we hear many of you didn't get a chance to try Vietnamese food, and even still, some people, most people, are a little hesitant about that. So I printed up signs next to the food to help you all navigate how to eat it in the best way possible. Okay, and here's your chance tonight to check that out. We also have pizza, if Vietnamese food is not your thing. It just wasn't, as somebody pointed out to me before, that's not something that they found in Vietnam readily. But we also have pizza from Naples, right here in Barnegat, popcorn peanuts on the table as well, too. All the food tonight is meant to be eaten with your fingers, okay? We also, if you haven't noticed, have a map of Vietnam in the back of the room over here. It's laminated. We have some dry erase markers right next to it, so you can mark where you've been. I'd love to be able to see where everybody has been. If you can go up and go ahead and circle where you've been, where you've visited, where you've trekked through, put your initials on there or whatnot. Feel free to go go check that out with a buddy. And then one of our other guests, Tony Kopke over here from the Coast Guard, has also brought an old fold-out map from the 60s from National Geographic magazine that you can also check out. And if your vision is failing, and we all know that happens, he also brought a handy-dandy magnifying glass as well. Okay? Please mingle. This room is perfect for mingling over here. I know there's seats and everything else, but please mingle. We have some really neat attendees here, and I've put some basic facts of everyone's name tags to help find common ground. So if you are a Vietnam veteran, your name has been underlined, okay? One of our Vietnam vets, Adam White Clovis, standing over there in the back. Wave hello to everybody, Adam, okay? Who was working with the Defense Intelligence Agency, has a neat story involving John McCain's infamous capture that you may find interesting. So definitely go head over to his way and talk to him for a little bit. And there are other Vietnamese former refugees here besides me who would love to talk to you, share their stories with you. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, my uncle, who was the captain of the minesweeper naval destroyer that was donated to the Vietnamese Navy by the US Navy, he was able to get all of us out of Vietnam alive by pretty much smuggling us and the boat out of Vietnam. And unfortunately, he was supposed to be here, but he came down with that stupid stomach virus that everybody else has been plagued with. Those other, Vietnamese foreign refugees, they can be clearly identified by their Asianness. Okay? But they, all these special guests, and we are all here for you. You guys are the true VIPs of our event, the Vietnam Veterans. So allow me to say the names of all of our VIPs here in alphabetical order by last name. And if you could please stand up and wave when you hear your name being called. Rick Amsterdam. Some people were supposed to be here, but they had some last minute things, unfortunately. So Doc Dockery was supposed to be here, but he's sick.
Got the bug.
Yes, so many people have that stupid bug. Mike Falco. Frank Healey. I'm sorry for making you guys stand up. Ralph Howland. Phil Narowski. Don Kohut. Tony Kopke. Frank Propp. Adam Mike Clovis is already standing up, and if you all just turn around for him to wave. Yeah, there you go. Phil O'Cone was another person who was supposed to be here tonight, but unfortunately is probably plagued by the same bug. David Polizzi or Polizzi? Polizzi. David Polizzi. Ken Petishnak. Robert Reed. Martin Riley. Rich Salvador was also supposed to be here, but he's also sick. Scarpinato. Bob Smyth. Rich Vafiadis. I'm sorry, Vafiadis. And finally, last but not least, Tom Zanga, who has a baby in his arms. It is truly an honor to be in the same room as all of you. And I hope you enjoy your night as our heroes, and welcome home, everyone. I'm sorry. It was a last minute thing. He came here straight from the doctors, okay? That's how committed he was. Bob Padavano. Enjoy your evening. Please help yourself to the food that we have in the back. Don't be shy about that. I'm going to stuff my face soon, and I'm going to be drinking my head off soon. Thank you very much for coming tonight, and enjoy your night.